Hello, everybody. I am excited for this new Rise Above conversation that we've been having each week. We have a very special guest that we'll go ahead and introduce. But as you guys have been a part of this for each week, I pray that you hopefully it's been a fruitful conversation. We only have a few more of these left. I think we'll probably have maybe just one more after this. So each week we can talk about this. If this is your first time joining in, please, 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 if you have any questions for our person that we're going to interview, please go ahead and put that in the chat. I can see them on the screen. I will ask anything that you have to come across, whether you're curious about, even if it's something that came up in the conversation or just a question that you would love to know about their life, whether it's your favorite food, favorite superhero, I don't care. It doesn't really matter what it is. If you're on the chat, would love to hear from you. Just say a hello, give me a hand wave or something like that, just to know that you're here. Hopefully that you all can just go ahead and join in and be a part of the conversation. This is I won't give her her introduction, but someone that is very special, someone I've known for a very long time, kind of seen grow up, but also somebody that I feel is very relevant for you all to help whether you are in your life, because she's kind of been there, done that, and it hasn't been that long because she's just in college. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce or bring on stream who our special guest is, and let her introduce herself. Here we go. Miss Bonds.
Yes.
I didn't tell him anything about you. I didn't tell him anything about you. So I'm gonna leave that for you. If you could just before we get started in the interview, just give a brief bio, who you are, what you got going on in your life right now, where you grew up, all that stuff, so people can kind of get to know you. Yeah.
All right. So hello, virtual world. My name is Yauna Buns. I am a junior at Sam Houston State University. I work on campus for work study. I'm also a part of student government. I'm really close to my family. I'm not sure. I don't want to do too much, so I can ramble a little bit.
Oh, I'm good. Rambling is good.
Okay. Right now, I want to be like a social media influencer. So I'm trying to be consistent with my YouTube and posting and stuff like that on Pinterest and on YouTube and on Instagram and all of that. I'm kind of more so like the fashion, funny mix. I'm really close to my brothers. And yeah, it's a little bit about me.
So if just before we get started, because this is key, if someone wanted to find you to like your YouTube handle or Instagram, where would they look? Because I think I know, but I can't spell it. So
it's at Yauna, Yauna Bana, Bana. So Yauna Bana.
Yauna Bana. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yauna Bana. I think I want to change the title to put Yauna Bana, because when you become big, when you got like 120 million Instagram followers, they're gonna be looking at this YouTube video like, oh, look at the first interview. Like
I see where
origin stories. They're gonna be like, man, the quality, like it wasn't even big cameras, like all the lights and stuff like that. It was just in our rooms.
That's it.
See, so I can't wait for that day, because I'm gonna take it off YouTube and I'm gonna sell it to TMZ or something like that.
That's what you can have 8.
No, I wouldn't do that. No, I would never do that. So don't worry. So Yauna, so I know you through church. So we, youth ministry. So I was kind of a youth volunteer, and you were one of the youth. So your whole family, you, Ricardo, Jacardo, we're kind of loved your family. It was like love seeing you all, love seeing y'all's relationship. Y'all were always different in a good way, in a very good way. So I was very excited to get you on for people to hear your story. So thank you. I know I told you that before, but I wanted to make sure that was public, that I was very thankful for you to come on.
Thank you. Thank you.
So was it always Houston? Did you grow up in Houston, Texas, or?
Yes, I was born in Plano, Texas, in the hospital. I don't remember much. I just remember green carpet. I think our apartment had green carpet, but I grew up in Houston. I went to Aldine District and I went to Spring, and then I graduated in Klein.
Okay. So did you? Yeah. So interesting. So I mean, we had another guest and myself that we kind of began, like when I was younger. I was in Aldine District. What did you go to school in the Aldine District?
I went to Conley Elementary.
Okay, gotcha. And then middle school. You remember
I went to in Roberson, right next to Westfield. I don't know even know if it's still there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We played Westfield when I was in high school. I remember
Yeah.
this guy looked like Carmelo Anthony, and I did good against
So
him.
did you play basketball or football?
I played basketball. Yeah,
Okay.
played
I mean,
basketball.
or tennis. No, we can ride in the horizons.
Say again?
I said or tennis because I just did the normal two. So.
Oh, okay, so tennis. I didn't know you played tennis.
No, I wasn't talking about me. I did in middle school. I was a cheerleader. I did tennis, I did volleyball. I did everything except basketball.
Okay, got it. And then what high school did you go to?
I went to Klein
Klein,
High,
that's
the
right.
original.
The original Klein. Okay. So kind of Houston, always majority of your life had playing on for a little bit. Um, so growing up, what was it like family wise? Like what was the dynamic with you and everyone else?
Okay, so our family dynamics, money was tight. So we lived in an apartment. It was 2 bedrooms. So my parents had one, then me and my 2 brothers had one little shoebox. So it was literally a bunk bed and a pull-out. And if you get out the bed too fast, you're gonna step on Jacardo head, the little one. So that really made us really tight as siblings just because we was always around each other, and if you mad, we never went to sleep mad at each other. So it really created a strong foundation. I don't know if it was intentional for my mom, because we didn't have a TV. Like we never had a TV in our room. It would always be out. She said it doesn't matter, like y'all need to always be together and talk and stuff like that. But they always made sure that we were family based. We always had family day every week, wings and a movie, and we still do it to this day. And I'm 20, so it really made us really close in general.
That's awesome. That's that's good. That's good for me as a parent to hear how
Yeah,
y'all just kind of yeah. You probably didn't like that as much when you
I
probably
did.
liked it, but there's probably you didn't like being on top of each other as a
And then I was always the cleanest one. I have 2 brothers, so one
yeah.
is one, then the other one was little. Then we always have to clean up everybody's stuff, and it was never my stuff. But I'm over it. I'm over
And
it.
you were the only. How was it being the only girl? I mean, like, because you got
Oh,
on both sides of you, you got your older brother and little brother, both boys. How was that growing up?
imagine I'm the only girl, so it was always I always like the rules for me were always different for them, which me being me, it's like I'm not like them. I'm a girl, but that's the whole different thing. Being a girl, being the only girl. Um, Certain stuff they did is like, oh, Yanni, you don't even think about it. Like even like having a girlfriend or whatever, when they was little, I couldn't even talk to boys. Like they didn't want that. Like you can have a friend, but you don't need to call him. So
Yeah,
it's like that little, well, it's different because he's a boy. I literally that saying really drives me. That's all I hear growing up. It's
yeah,
different because boy, well, you can't do that right now. Sit lady, like all of that. But because I grew up with boys, I have like the mannerisms to kind of lean and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was definitely a journey. But I mean, you do have to understand when you are a woman and a female, it is different. It just is. But you don't want to have that like restriction. But some stuff like you can't go outside at nighttime. Well, I'm a girl. It's just not safe. So it's a lot of stuff that makes sense, but you do not want to hear it when you're
yeah,
going. So.
yeah. That's yeah. Since I grew up with it was two. Well, my older sister, she was 10 years older. She was already out the house kind of when we were coming up. So
Yeah.
my brother and I. But yeah, my I think it's hard, especially when you're going through it. Like I know a lot of um, that people in our ministry that are probably listening to this probably go through that as well. Like, why is it different? But yeah,
Yeah.
as a parent, you're just scared, right? That you just scared. You don't want anything to happen, and some yeah. So I'll leave it at that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll leave it at that. So only girl, middle child.
Yes.
Um, you very tight knit with your siblings. How and it sounds like all you guys all are all tight knit with your parents as well.
Yes, we are actually really close. We're more close with our mother because she just kind of like to sit and listen and okay, and she's the talker. Our daddy is kind of like the if we need something and he'll just sit and listen and like okay, well this is what you shouldn't have did, this you shouldn't do. But just women in general, we talk more and we both like all the stories. Tell me from
Yeah,
start to finish. So, but we are really close. Anytime we need anything, if we have any questions about life or anything like that, they'll literally just be like, ask us and we will tell you the answer. So.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Now, did they? um like how was God, like Christ, Christianity, how was that in your household? Was it like since growing up, or like how was that?
It was
Yeah.
literally. So our grandmother, my mother's mama, um, she was really in the church. I just remember going to like 4 different things. When we ever we would go to Mama C church, we would go like in the morning for like Bible drill, then we would have like Bible study, then we would have youth, like the youth Bible, then we have the actual service, and then at 6 o'clock we come back for dinner and another ceremony. So it was always in the house. So with my mother's upbringing like that, of course, that was on us. We had no choice. We're going to church on Sunday, and we were going to be involved. So whether it's whenever we was at the church without walls, we were in the youth choir before we made it upstairs. Like the really Miss Rebecca was over like
Yeah.
a long ago. That's what we did. Couldn't sing, but the spirit moved us.
Yeah.
It's always been in the house. We always had like a little saying. Somebody would start off with like, "Thank you, Lord," and we'd say, "Thank you, Lord, for another day. In Jesus' name, amen." We still do it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really like, it's really just a solid foundation. It was never questioned. You just knew anything that happened, anything positive or anything is because of God. Like,
Yeah.
don't question it. Like anytime people would say something, especially my grandpa, he'll be like, "It's not me, it's God going through me." So literally everything is really like, we have a really solid foundation in our faith.
Yeah. That's now did because it sound like I've been around your parents. I can just I love how they interact with you all, and that like even in conversation it's just natural, right? It's just a
Yeah.
part of who you guys are. Now I know, so I know for me at least, when you grow up in that environment, it's all around you, and so you kind of take it for granted. I mean, at least for me, you take it where it's like, yeah, like it's no, God is a part of
Yeah.
what we do. Did you ever have a moment, or not, maybe not a moment, but when it like, well, maybe two moments, like, or when you like maybe doubted it, like it wasn't because it was always a part of you, when it could shake you up when you start seeing things outside of it. Yeah, let's start there. Has it ever occurred for you at all?
Yes, it have. I don't remember how old I was, but you start putting stuff together and like really digging deep and asking just random questions because you just want to know that you know. And if you can't see him, and it's kind of like, okay, so is he there? So just reading the Bible, sometimes I feel like it will be contradictions with just like thou shalt not kill. Then it's like we have wars and stuff, but then it's like other reasons for that, and people do what they do, and it's just the uncertainty of everything. Especially being young, you can't see it. So like even now, if you didn't record it, it didn't happen. It
Mhm.
was kind of like that. Just I wasn't sure. Like I don't know, and going through a certain stage, it's a lot of stuff that you just don't know. So that kind of was a I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a not a challenge, but it was just a time where I was questioning. But
Mhm.
of course, the good old mother, the good old family, like, don't question it. And they had different reasons. They said, because you wouldn't be here without God. Or, well, you know how you got this card? Because of God, because I didn't have it. And just different stuff like that. To where it's like, okay. And it will be different times where I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And it's just like, oh, like, where did that come from? Just because of like, and sometimes you can hear his voice, and it's just different weird stuff like that, like your intuition. But I don't know, it's just, I don't know, it was
It's like he
I
has you.
hmm?
It's like he has you. It's like
Yeah,
something about it has
yeah,
you, like he has you. Yeah.
you just feel protected, and that's kind of when I was like, okay, like I don't have to see you, but I know you're there
Yeah.
type.
Yeah. So is that how you, well, I don't want to, don't let this shift your response, but I'll tell you a little bit how it was for me. But, so it's like when you get older, yeah, when you're a kid, it's, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. It's like, I don't gotta question that, right? Because I grew up that way. But as you get older, yeah, you mean, you got like information everywhere, especially now, right? Information everywhere. And so you're a different view that you didn't even see. And as you get more older and older, you start to understand, like, well, how does this even make sense? Like, you didn't question it before.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't seem like that necessarily stops. At least for me personally. but there is something that sometimes you get solidified on what you believe, you know. That was that was that how you described it, where you know your parents just kind of coming in and helping to like keep you going in that direction, or 'cause
Um,
I know sometimes you go to college, that's a big one, right? Where it's like different views everywhere. Everyone's got different views, and sometimes that can be hard, right? Because they're coming against your own view. How have you been able to keep your faith throughout?
say with that, college was never really an issue with faith. 'Cause I went to a diverse high school to where we had different people like lit atheists and a whole bunch of stuff that always kind of challenged what you believed in. Um, but keeping my faith is more so like a connection. Because when I tried to like drill it in, okay, I want to do this at this time and I got to read this at this time, it didn't work like that. It wasn't natural. So you actually gave me a book for graduation. That was like a study guide or something.
Study guide, yeah.
Yeah, so like that was actually a really good thing that I would say like a tool, just because it's a transition, and just because it's like mama's not gonna be there to be like, okay, come on y'all, come down, eat, we finna read this. It's like you have to want to do it. So just with that, and as well as I wanted to like have the light shine through me. So I would read different stuff, not necessarily the Bible. It's like the like for women, I don't know what it's called. Like yes, like devotionals. I'm really into devotionals because I just feel like sometimes I need like a pep up, like a motivation, and this word connects within the Bible, so it can kind of give me more understanding. Like, okay, so this is why I feel like this, but it's okay because we're gonna get through it. So just keeping your faith is really important with anything, even in high school, middle school. People are always gonna try to Christianity is always attacked, in my opinion. It's always like, okay, you're a Christian, but you say you do this and you do. That's not the point of Christianity. But the thing is, keeping your faith is more so you have to want to for yourself. Your mama and daddy can only do so much. They can only drill it in you and embed it in you for a foundation. But when you go off to college and stuff, what they teach you or what you want for yourself is gonna have to come with it. That makes sense.
That's really good. I think you mentioned a few things that, especially because I'm learning this, and I think our youth will get it too, where you'll get real busy. Like life, you think that they think life is busy, but it's not. Like, and I'm even gonna tell you, you think life is busy, but it's it's always like more things pulling you in different directions, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we can think like Christianity is based on, oh, I got to read the Bible, or and I got to do all these different rules, and it's really not about that. And you said it's like a relationship. It's just staying connected to God. And there may be times when you're reading the Bible every day, you're reading 4 hours. I don't know. You may do that. That's good. That's saying that's a bad thing, but that it's not what makes you a Christian.
Yeah.
What makes you a Christian is that you're going to follow after what God wants for you and what His plan for you. And that you believe He saved you, right?
Yeah.
You believe He saves you despite the things that you do, right? Despite those times that you mess up, and people are like, "Are you even a Christian?" Was like, "Well, I know God saves me through that."
And we are sinners. That's the whole point. He died for our sins. So don't just do it intentionally, but don't feel like you have to be a perfect person either.
Yeah, man, that's a word right there. If y'all ain't getting that, man, that's a word right there. I'm about to raise my hands up in here. You better calm down, Yauna Bana, before I run around the room. No, I'm just kidding. So okay, so we talked about your faith. Was there a time when maybe like a difficulty happened, and it could have been, maybe, kind of whenever, it doesn't matter, but like a difficulty happened and your faith really helped you get through that difficult time? Yeah.
Probably the hardest thing. Hopefully, I don't start crying because I'm just emotional about this.
Okay.
And a while ago, my grandmother's passing. Yep, it's gonna happen. She had ovarian cancer, and I don't like to cry. Okay. She had ovarian cancer, and she was like the knit of our family. This is my mother's mom. So anything we did, she would like pick us up from school. She was like the really like the church, like the grandma church, red carpet, red stuff like that. So when she passed, it was a little confusing because she didn't tell us when she had cancer. So when she told us, it was like stage 4, hair coming off, chemo, all of that. So during that time, it was just a little, it was like really hard because my grandma was an 18th child. So we were in hospital, stuff like that. But when you lose like somebody that's like a second mom, it's confusing. It might be difficult because sometimes you might not, like, you don't know because she's there and then she's not. And the way our daddy told us, my daddy actually told us when she passed, we all came from school and he told us in our apartment, and we was like, okay, so we can just go, because he told us, your grandma, she's not here no more. She actually left. And we were like, okay, well, when we gonna go get her? Like, let's go, because we always would go visit her. Because she was in bed rest at my auntie house, and so just that whole experience, and it probably happened like 10 years ago, and it's still like, it's very hard just because the relationship and stuff we would have for her. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. You're okay.
So just that, and our mother was really strong during this time, and it was her mother, and her being solid in her faith. Like during the song "Well Done" came on whenever she passed, because my mama and my auntie, her sister was there with my grandma, like when she passed, and just seeing how my mama took it. And she was like, it's okay. She's in a better place. I don't want my mama hurt in any way. And God, this happened for a reason. Y'all prepared and stuff like that. I'm glad y'all was able to meet my mama. And just that dynamic really helped me like understand, and like even made my faith more solid, just because I'm like, okay, like God can get me through this because it got my mama through it. So that was an ugly cry. But yeah, she just really played a detrimental role in everything, like everything we did. So that's probably the hardest thing, still is to this day. So yeah.
You I can go on a little monologue for you. So that's beautiful. I think. Well, so I don't know if I told you, but um, I'm getting a degree, a master's degree in Christian theology. So one of the things I learned that that I didn't really think about before, like in death, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Christians will say, "Oh, death is like a good thing," right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's clear in the Bible that death is the enemy, right? So the pain that you feel, that a lot of us feel when someone passes away, um, is right. It's not a that's not a don't feel shameful, like, you miss, you mean like your grandma was like a second mother to you, and then she's not here, you miss her, right? That is an enemy to God. And this is why it's so important to remember that is, I think death rocks people. I mean, like, if you were to put, like, if you list things, death at the very top of it rocks people,
Yeah.
because you don't see that person anymore. You question a lot of like God's goodness. But what that means, though, is that if death is the enemy, God always wins, right? God, there's not an enemy that God's like, oh, that's too big for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so what that looks like is, there will be a day when you'll look back at the pain and you'll say, I no longer feel pain. So like, this is what's gonna happen, right? You're gonna be like 160. I don't know how old you're gonna get. You'll be 160, you'll pass away, and you'll wake up, and then your grandmother will be there. You'll be like, I'm like, why was I even sad? Like, you'll think that. I mean, it makes sense why you're sad now, but you'll see at that moment, all this was beautiful in some
Yeah.
way, right? Your grandmother's gonna be like, I was seeing you doing your thing at SGA and doing all that, Yauna. I was like one of your followers. Like, it didn't count because I couldn't click it because I was in heaven. And then the beautiful thing about that's forever.
Yeah.
It's not even like all the pain that we feel now, that you feel now, the people that passed away in my life that I feel, is gonna be gone, right? And that's beautiful. Like, that's why your mother, it can be like, I'm good, like I can be strong,
But
because she was wrecked. She was wrecked on the inside, right? She had to be.
where do we
So,
take her to the hospital? Like, yeah. But the
yeah,
thing was, they emphasized that we live to die.
yeah,
So it's normal. They was like, this is natural. She's not gonna be here forever. And
yeah.
so yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that's encouraging to hear. Just about it's about you and yeah, don't apologize for those tears.
I like
That's
to.
real.
I'm so sensitive.
Oh man, look. Wait till you have kids, man. Like when I had Jay, I cry about everything now. Movies I don't even cry about now. I'd be like, why is this so
No, no, literally.
sad?
That's right. Did y'all see that in this part? I'm like, why am I crying?
No, I think yeah. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that. So let's so teenage years. Let's talk
Okay.
about teenage years for you for a second. So if you were to take us back to Yana Bana at 14, like what was going through your mind at 14 years old, and like what was a part of your world uh during that time? Yeah, let's do this. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so at 14, I was in high school. I was a freshman. During that time, everybody had a boyfriend, but that wasn't gonna happen for good old Yana Bana. Mama always said, "You different. You ain't everybody else. I'm your mama, not them." So, just that, not peer pressure, but just because it's just like, well, it's not fair. A lot of stuff is not fair, and I need a reason why. But as a mama, I don't gotta give you a reason why. I'm just know that you don't need that, which was really, really a good thing. Because one, mama always kept us in stuff, so I was always busy. I was in cheer, I was year round. I was in FCCLA. I was in DECA. I was in decathlon freshman year. So I was like literally in everything. Where she's like, you don't have time for boys, and focus on you and focus on stuff that actually matters. Focus on your grades and all of that stuff. Um, so during that time, I was literally always busy. I didn't have time to do much. Couldn't talk on the phone with boys. It just the normal thing. But that's actually it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Whenever during that time, everything always seems worse than what it is, but it's a reason because stuff happens and they know they were kids. So during that time, you just got to really understand and not gonna lie. I was when my parents say it went because I respected them so much and they did so much for me to where a boy can wait. I'm not gonna disrespect my parents and they are disappointed in me for something that won't matter. So I know that was a really big thing. And when you go to high school, you see older boys and you see all this other stuff. And then you just feel like you need to do something because everybody else is doing it. But that's not the case. This is the time where you focus on you. You maybe even start doing scholarships at that point. Start studying for tests and stuff like that. But at 14, I was really busy. Like I was in stuff.
So okay, this is good. So you were different, and I
Very
mean, I'm sure there's a lot of boys trying to talk to you, and you giving them like, hey, you need to back up, like and like yeah, I'm sure you had friends and stuff, but you
yeah.
weren't, that, and that's one aspect, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure there was, I mean, that leads to a lot of other things that you just probably weren't doing,
Mm-hmm.
that you probably wanted to, right,
Mm-hmm.
at that age, that you couldn't or chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably things you couldn't do that you wanted to do, and there's things that you maybe you wanted, but you just yourself weren't going to get yourself
Yeah.
involved in.
Literally.
How so you okay? Um, how did you how did you do that? How did you say no when you probably could have done some things and your parents wouldn't even know about it, right? How
No,
did you?
that was the thing. Everybody would say they're not gonna know. Like but I would see that on TV. Like I know what not to do. I've seen it like people sneaking in the house. I literally never thought about that. Because my father is, he don't play that. Let's just say that. So just growing up, having a mindset, our mama always told us your leader is not following us. We have like all these like random sayings, so they might pop up randomly. So just that in general, that just because everybody else is doing something, you do not have to do it. And most of the time you don't want to do it when everybody else is doing it. That doesn't make you different. It doesn't set you apart. You're just literally a sheep in a flock of sheep. It doesn't set you apart. But realistically, just being a kid and wanting to explore and want to figure out because everybody else is doing it. I mean, there's gonna be times where you want to do something and you just gotta know for yourself that's not the right thing. If you question it, should I do this? Am I gonna be able to, if you can't tell your mother, Mama, I just did this, and she don't react, then don't do it. It's people make stuff harder than what it is because of society, because of social media. People feel like they got to grow up faster. People feel like they got to be grown, which is not the case. You don't want to pay your own bills. I don't see the rush there. But just you have to be headstrong. You have to know that, okay, I don't have to do this. I can say no. I can be different. People will start following you because you didn't do it. That's literally what it is. Well, okay, well, I can wait. Why are you want to get your heart broken at 14, 15 and cry about some nappy headed boy that ain't gonna do nothing for you? Let's be real here. I'm being real with y'all. They can't, it's not, and you ain't missing on nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
hang with your girls, do
Yeah.
girl stuff, and grow up when it's time to grow up.
Yeah.
But society does that. Social media does that to where people feel like, oh, I need to do this to be cool. I need to have a boyfriend here because Cardi B now. Like, that's not society, and social media is really in there to influence people, and it's not always positive. So it's just the mindset that you have to be strong, but a strong mindset is what you need, and it'll carry you generations. Like, you have to be headstrong.
How does that relate to now? So like those habits that you were building in, right?
Mhm.
But now you in college, you can do,
Yeah,
what you want.
I literally can kind of. I still really
I mean, I know, yeah, you're not fully free.
can.
You're not like a millionaire, so you can just be out like, but you're relatively free. I mean, no
Yes.
one is telling you, you don't got your mom on FaceTime all the time where she's telling you, but I mean, how has that carried you? Those decisions that you made?
Um, peer pressure. I can sit somewhere and I'm literally not easily influenced. I have to have a reason why, for what, with who, all that. But I literally have been sitting in places and seeing different people get peer pressure. And I'm like, you don't have to say yes to that. You don't have to do that. Like, don't feel like you obligated. But they felt bad because people was looking at them and they feel like that's what they needed to do. So whenever, and I mean, it does come up with upbringing and stuff like that, because really I didn't do much. So I'm not, like, even I'm trying to think like an example. Because different people, you can try stuff and different stuff like that, but I've seen what it's done to people, and I've seen certain stuff to where I don't even want to try it. Like, even alcohol and stuff like that. People in college, that's like the thing. Everybody drink alcohol, but I've seen people pass out, some people throw up. My brother had a whole incident to where he had to take a girl home because he felt bad. So it's like a whole bunch of stuff that comes from peer pressure.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to try stuff like that, I'm gonna be real with you. People gonna want to try stuff in college because that's the time everybody want to try something. Be smart. Look around. See who's there. Know your surroundings. It's a lot of stuff, especially having different groups, different people with different ideas. People are weird. So different people put some in your drink, or they'll do some stuff. If it's a boy, they'll want you to drink some more. It's literally what you see on TV. Like, that happens in real life. So literally comes back to being strong, being yourself. Don't ever feel like you have to adjust yourself to adapt to your surrounding. Like, you don't ever have to change what you do to make somebody else feel comfortable.
Yeah. One thing I mean, especially when you're in church all the time, you see there's a certain way we're on Sunday and then a certain way on Monday. Like, or, and then you follow, like, like you know them on Instagram. So you're like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey, same kid. Like, this is a completely different
No,
person,
real.
like out in the streets, and then like when I see him on Sunday, I'm like, oh man, like you like Father Abraham had many, all the books of the Bible. But then it's
For
like,
real.
wait, you're two different people. And I mean, I think that's so key, just be real, be who you are no matter where it is. I think number
Literally.
one. I think what I love is you're able to flex, you're able to like work out those muscles of being able to say no to peer pressure early on. Because like the
Mm-hmm.
decisions that you make in junior high, like the implications, I guess they could be big, but it's greater peer pressure as you get into college. Like, and the bad stuff that can happen is like, oh, you got in a fight then, and yeah, you go to principal's office. But now, like, you get in a fight when you in
Weapon,
college, yeah, that's
but
it. Like,
you don't know.
you got a record, like that. You didn't even think about it. So,
Exactly.
um, yeah, I think I hope people can hear that. Saying no is hard. It
Mhm.
is hard, but then try it, do it when you're younger, and then you'll get
That's
better at it when you get older.
I mean, when you get, it's not gonna be. I mean, I don't know, because a lot of people say it's so hard for them. Like, I just feel like I had to do it. Like, I have some friends. I just feel like I needed to. He asked me or she asked me, and I just felt like I. It's like people feel like they need, like the need. I don't. I don't know.
How does your confidence play into that? How does your confidence play into that?
That might be a thing too, because not gonna lie, growing up, my mama like made sure we all had confidence. So I don't search in like validation from anybody because my mama told me. That's kind of really how it is. My mother and my father, they always made sure, like, know that y'all are different, know that we raised y'all right, and carry yourself correctly. We was always told whenever you go outside, know you're on TV, like seem like you're on TV. So they have like that, like whole little like always carry yourself properly because people will know how to address you. And that's kind of like I feel like that really does come into play. Some may say I'm a feminist, because different people say, oh well, look like this and we're like this. I'm like, well, people can do what they want. It all comes with self-control of other people. That's a whole nother topic. But just in general, confidence is very important because a lack of confidence can lead to other things because you're looking for validation. So confidence is key.
Very good. Let's end on this because I know you're very busy. You got things to do, place people to see. I also know people are online that may want to. So if you have any questions, anybody online, feel free. We got probably a minute or two left, maybe 5 minutes. Feel free to go ahead and put a question in the chat, and I'll check it. But if not, I think the question I asked is like kind of what's you got to mention at the beginning, but where are you now? Kind of how are things flowing for what you want in your future? What do you think God has for you, and what is
Um,
doing in your life now?
God has a lot in store for me. Because I'm always trying to do a whole bunch of stuff and I'm trying to navigate and figure out like the direction. But God definitely gives me different opportunities to where I can nibble in and just see. I graduate 2022, so after this semester, I have one more year. And I want to be a social media influencer, like I mentioned before, but I'm also a marketing major. So I thought about pharmaceutical sales, just because it's a really dominant, like pharmaceuticals and medicine is like very pronounced in the USA. Um, so just remembering that God is the reason, literally for everything. He's the creator. And I don't have a plan because God has my plan. So I kind of just live day by day. I have goals and have different stuff like that, but I've realized every time I try to make some up for myself and try to plan it, it never goes as planned. So at this point, I'm just like, whatever you want me to do, we're gonna keep it pushing and just let me know. So
Yeah.
that's all I have.
And what would you say? This is my last question is for all of our youth, especially young ladies out there.
Mhm.
What would your last words be? It's words of advice. It could be something you've already said, just to
Mhm.
reiterate, or something new. What would you say to them?
Um, I would probably say you are beautiful, you are you, and you are unique. So never fold and always be yourself. That really takes you far. And always be the light. Speak up. If you see something wrong, speak up and be confident in yourself. So
Yauna Bana, please go check her out. She's on YouTube, Instagram. What else are your social media platforms?
I'm on Pinterest.
Pinterest.
Yeah.
Pinterest.
That's pretty much
Okay,
it.
Yauna Bana. You make sure you check her out. I could not say, uh, I cannot say more. Or I guess I could say more. It's hard for me to. I could say a lot about just how impressed I am with you and the life that you've led. Knowing that things haven't always been perfect and there are for anybody, but just how you've carried yourself in and outside of church, and how you just you and your whole family just have been a huge influence on my wife and I, even how we are raising our son and our future kids. So I want to thank you just for not just for coming on for this interview, but just for always shining your light. I mean, and I'm not just saying that. Like I am a genuine. You guys do a great job of just not going with the mold. Like you're always going to do what God has led you to do and do that, even as messy as that may seem at times. So thank you for
Thank
doing that, being consistent.
you
So
for having me.
Yeah, no problem. If you don't mind staying on, I'll start the live stream. We can just chat for a little bit afterwards. Okay.
All right.
All right. So I'm gonna put you into the the waiting
Wait.
room. And, I'll give a couple announcements for everybody.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, everybody. So hopefully that conversation blessed you. Just seeing how even through difficult times, good times, how God has been a part of her life. I think it was so key, which talked about just being yourself all the time, right? God created you all to not be somebody else. And every moment that you're trying to be something that you're not, um, you are literally going against God's creation. So think about it this way, like if God made you nice, be nice. If God made you the person that wants to speak out, speak out. If God made you the person that wants to be the person that helps other people, help other people. Don't shy away from that, even if peer pressure says to do something different. I cannot say that more than because every moment, even personally, where I've tried to be something I'm not, it was exhausting. So you should just stop. So we got about one more of these. I think after Thanksgiving, it should actually be me, so I'll be interviewed during that time. So feel free to come out for our last Rise Above conversation for next week. We'll send a YouTube video out, a link out, on social media, but also on. You should get a text message, or your parents should get a text message. If you guys have any questions or anything like that about this one, feel free to shoot it to me. I'm sure Yauna wouldn't mind taking it. I'll find her on social media and just hit her up there. After that, we'll start our Christmas series. So looking forward to that. It's called Christmas Lights. So we'll talk more and more about the coming of Jesus and how important that was for him to come down for us and for our story. So love y'all. And I think that's it. We'll talk to y'all next time. See y'all later.